Chapter 1. You think it happens in sleep. You lie down. The light is off. The room is quiet. You close your eyes. A soft voice in English begins to play through your headphones. The words sound gentle. Good evening. Relax your mind. Learn English as you sleep. You feel calm. You smile a little. Maybe this is the secret, you think. Maybe learning can be easy. Maybe tomorrow you will wake up speaking better English. You listen to the rhythm of each sentence. The voice repeats simple words: hello, good morning, nice to meet you. It feels comfortable. You imagine the words enter your mind like small lights. You tell yourself that tonight is special, that you are learning even as you rest. The idea is sweet. You want to believe it. Time passes slowly. The voice floats between your dreams. In those dreams, you walk in a city where everyone speaks English. You answer them easily. You ask for coffee, you read signs, you understand jokes. It feels real, even wonderful. The dream convinces you that something important is happening. But when morning comes, things are different. The window glows with sunlight. You open your eyes, remove the headphones, and for a moment expect to feel new words ready in your mouth. You whisper, "Good morning," it sounds the same as yesterday. You try another sentence. Still the same. A small disappointment hides in your chest. You remember the dream and wonder where that fluency went. You drink some water. You play the same audio again, now awake. It feels familiar. The sentences are not new, but they sound clear. You realize that you remember some patterns, even if speaking is still hard. The sound did not turn you into an English speaker overnight, but it left a trace, a shadow of memory. You start to ask yourself what really happens at night. You know your brain keeps working when you sleep. Maybe it moves information, organizes small details, refreshes tired neurons. But learning a language is not only passive memory, it needs attention, choice, repetition, and intention. You begin to see that sleep alone is not the whole secret. It is a part, not the entire path. You think back to all the days you wanted a shortcut. You wanted to be good at English without struggle, to speak naturally without hours of study. But every skill you ever learned, reading, writing, needed repetition. So why should language be different? You look out the window. People are walking to work. You imagine how long it took them to master what they do. The baker did not learn to bake in his dreams. The singer did not learn to sing by listening in sleep. They practiced while awake, but sleep helped their bodies recover and their memories stay alive. That thought comforts you. Maybe sleep learning is not a lie, but a smaller truth inside a bigger one. You realize that listening during sleep helps your mind feel close to the language. It reduces fear. It creates familiarity. But the real transformation still happens when you are awake, when you speak, read, write, and use English in real moments. Later, during breakfast, you play the same audio on your phone. The words flow through the room: "This is an apple." "The sun is bright." You are learning English. They sound simple, but now you repeat them softly. Your mouth follows the rhythm. This time, something connects. You feel in control. Sleep gave you the seed, now you water it with action. You remember last night's promise, to wake up with new knowledge, and you smile again. The promise was half true. You woke up with readiness. You are no longer afraid of the sound. You understand that passive listening prepared your brain to accept more. The foundation is set. Then a new idea appears. Maybe sleep learning works with your daily effort, not instead of it. Sleep can support you, like gentle waves that keep the sand of memory smooth. But to build something solid, you must shape it with your own hands. You imagine your brain as a quiet library. At night, small librarians move around, cleaning and organizing books. They don't add new ones, they arrange the ones you studied while awake. When you rest, they place each English word in the right shelf. But if you never read or listen with attention in the day, the shelves stay empty. You lie back again, testing this new perspective. The idea of learning in your sleep still feels beautiful, but now it is balanced. You do not feel tricked, you feel informed. You understand what is real and what is not. You begin to plan a routine. In the evening, you will review a few sentences aloud. Then, before sleep, you will play the same recording softly. The next morning, you will repeat those sentences again. It will be a simple loop: awake, sleep, awake. A circle of learning. The more you think about it, the more possible it sounds. It does not demand magical power, only consistency. You can do it with what you already have: your phone, your earphones, your voice, your patience. You make a mental note: no magic, only rhythm. That becomes your quiet motto. As you move through the day, bits of English start to appear. In the street, you notice billboards in English that you never read before. In a store, you hear background songs and catch single words. You whisper them again, testing your pronunciation. Each moment feels alive, as if the night had opened a small door in your mind. At lunch, you catch yourself thinking in English. Simple thoughts: I am hungry. The food is good. I am learning. You realize that awareness is the real sign of progress. Sleep did not change you, but it gave you a rhythm, a calm space where the language can live quietly. That night, you prepare again. You brush your teeth. You dim the light. You set the audio to play. But this time, you are not blind believer, you are thoughtful participant. You whisper: I will listen while I sleep, and I will practice when I wake. The music starts. The same sentences return, repeating like small waves. You no longer wait for a miracle. You enjoy the feeling instead, the soft connection between sound and meaning. As you drift towards sleep, you know you are helping your future self. Your mind relaxes, but somewhere deep inside, attention keeps a gentle pulse. Each known word, each familiar phrase, floats across the surface of your rest, waiting for morning light. When sunrise comes, you stretch, repeat one sentence from the audio, and it flows faster than before. You recognize its shape, its rhythm. You smile because this is progress: slow, small, real. You make coffee and decide to keep going. Tonight you will listen again. Tomorrow you will speak again. It will be a quiet partnership between night and day, between sleep and effort, between dream and discipline. Now you no longer chase the fantasy of instant fluency. You follow a slower, steadier dream, the dream of building your English step by step, word by word, night after night, morning after morning. You finally understand what the phrase "learn English while sleeping" really means. It does not promise a miracle, it reminds you that learning lives with you 24 hours a day. Your waking and your sleeping minds are not separate, they are partners in growth. You close your eyes again. The voice begins. You are calm, aware, and ready. You do not just listen, you participate. The language moves softly through you, not as magic, but as rhythm. Slowly, steadily, it becomes part of you. Chapter 2. You meet the morning sound. You wake up before the alarm rings. The room is still half dark, quiet but alive with soft noise from outside. Birds begin to sing, a car passes far away, and faintly you hear the last seconds of your English audio still playing through the headphones. You remove them slowly. The voice fades, but it leaves a gentle echo inside you. For a moment you stay still, listening not to the recording but to your own breath. It feels different, lighter. You notice how sound carries meaning, even before you name it. You stretch and whisper. Good morning. The words come out clearly. Yesterday they sounded strange, now they feel natural, like part of your thinking. You sit up and listen again. The room has its own rhythm, the whir of the fan, the ticking of the clock, the chirp of the birds. Everything becomes a small English lesson about sound, tone, and time. Oh, you walk to the window. The sky is turning blue. You tell yourself, now I learn with my ears, not only my books. A habit begins to form, you are ready to meet the language in real life. You go to the kitchen. The floor is cold, the kettle softens its voice as it warms. You open your mouth and let words match what you see. This is a cup. The water is hot. It is morning. They are simple sentences, nothing advanced, but they connect the world in your mind. You pour water, listen to the sound of it, and repeat, water. You hear the W, the breath at the start, the small T at the end. You repeat it again. The sound becomes shape, the shape becomes memory. Your phone screen lights up. You tap the same audio file that played while you slept. The opening words return, relax. Listen. Repeat. You obey them consciously now. You are awake, your attention sharp. You repeat every line out loud. The difference is clear. Last night you were a dreamer, now you are a learner. As you speak, you notice small details, intonation rising at the end of a question, falling in a statement. When the voice says how are you, you match its melody. The tone travels through you like music, and you realize learning English is not only about meaning, it is about hearing rhythm and echo. You start to hum along. Each phrase feels like a moving slow dance between sound and silence. You bring your notebook near. You write what you hear: good morning, nice day, thank you, see you later. The letters look friendly. You remember them easily because you listen first. Hearing shapes writing, and now you see the connection. Our thoughts drift to last night again. Sleep didn't give you new words, but it made your brain ready to notice patterns faster. This morning, repetition feels lighter. You say thank you many times and never get bored. You study the sound, not just the letters. After breakfast you go outside. The street noise fills your ears. A bus honks. Children shout. You listen without fear. You try to separate sounds, hear T and stop, S and bus, R and street. The world becomes your teacher. Nothing is wasted sound anymore. Every noise is a small bit of English practice. You walk slowly, speaking under your breath. I am walking. The air is cool. The sun is up. You are not afraid to hear your own voice. It used to sound wrong, now it sounds alive. People pass, but you stay in your small English space, building calm confidence. Later you sit in a park. You open the same app again. The narrator speaks, you are learning English. You are doing well. You smile. It feels like the voice talks directly to you. You answer softly, yes, I am. This moment becomes proof that the distance between you and English is shrinking. You imagine sound waves around your head, invisible but strong. Every time you hear and repeat, the brain listens too, adjusting connections, making them faster. You think of it as training a muscle, each word a small lift, each phrase a repetition. The scene of morning continues. Wind touches your face, leaves move, you listen to the S sound in the wind itself. You repeat, it's a sound. You realize English lives even in nature. When you attend to rhythm, you find it everywhere. Your mind starts to play with memory. You remember your first English class years ago, when words were only symbols on paper. Now they are alive in the air. You think, this is progress. This is the next step after sleep. You practice simple patterns as you walk back home. I'm here. I'm ready. I can learn. Repetition doesn't feel mechanical. It feels peaceful. Every phrase confirms your choice. Every pause holds meaning. At home, you open a drawer and find a small mirror. You speak while looking at yourself. Hello. Nice to see you. The lips move in rhythm. You adjust shape for each sound, Observe how th needs the tongue outside. You repeat gently until it is correct. Watching your mouth helps your ear. You smile again, not from pride, but from the calm certainty of practice. You switch the audio to slower speed. You repeat along. You start to write a new rule in your notebook. Listen. Repeat. Feel the sound. You underline feel. Because you now understand that language begins with sound before idea. As afternoon arrives, you test yourself. You close your eyes and let random words appear: morning, coffee, window, street. You describe each one out loud in simple English. The window is open. The coffee is warm. Speaking without reading makes you aware of what you've internalized. Later, tired, you rest for a moment. You don't play the audio now. You let silence teach you. You recall the rhythm of sentences, the warm tone of good morning, the welcoming sound of how are you. Even without headphones, you hear them inside. Your inner ear takes the place of the device. Evening comes quietly. You prepare dinner, listening to a podcast in English. Not everything is clear, but you catch pieces. A word here, a phrase there. You write them down, because, new, today, voice. For simple words, yet they carry pride. Each one witnessed by the energy of morning sound. Before bed, you think of your progress. You didn't memorize long lists, you just listened actively, noticed patterns, repeated, and felt rhythm. The improvement came not from magic, but from attention. You see now that learning means meeting the sound, not chasing it. You make small plan for tomorrow. In the morning you will walk and describe 5 things in English. At night you will listen again. Sleep and wake become partners again, but now with purpose. You turn off the light. The city around you hums softly. You close your eyes and whisper one more line. I meet the morning sound. I am learning. The words settle peacefully. You fall asleep knowing tomorrow's voice will be a little clearer, a little stronger, because you are finally listening with both your ears and your mind. Chapter 3. You follow the day of sounds. You wake up with energy. The morning light fills the room, and the sound of the city arrives slowly: cars, voices, footsteps, the low wind moving through buildings. After so many quiet nights of listening, you begin the day aware of every small sound. English lives somewhere between all those noises now. You understand that learning does not wait for a special hour, it travels with you, every minute, everywhere. You prepare to go out. You speak softly as you move. I am getting ready. I need my bag. Where are my keys? Simple lines, but active. You use English not as study but as company. You notice each phrase shapes your thoughts differently. You no longer translate. The sentences come directly from what you see and do. Outside, the air is bright. People walk quickly. You hear different languages. Still, you keep a private focus on your own one, English. In your mind, you name things you pass. A tree. A door. A car. A man is walking. The exercise feels light, almost like a game. Each object becomes a small teacher, and every step makes your vocabulary stronger. You stop at a small cafe. The smell of coffee wakes your memory of earlier lessons. You heard that word many times in recordings: coffee, cup, table. Now they stand in front of you. You say them quietly, matching the picture to the sound. The connection is alive and real. When you order, you use the same calm tone as in the recordings. The person behind the counter answers quickly, maybe too fast, but you catch one word: sugar. You nod and answer, yes, please. It works. That short, real exchange feels like a small victory. You sit near the window, drinking slowly. The city rhythm continues. You decide to do a short listening walk. You put your earphones in, open the audio again, and walk without pressure. The voice says familiar lines: listen, repeat, understand. You align your footsteps with the beat of the sentences. The movement helps. Your brain connects rhythm, language, and motion into one pattern. At a street crossing, you pause the sound. You test yourself. You look around and speak naturally. The light is red. I wait. Now it is green. I walk. You realize grammar and life finally touch. The simple now present tense describes what you do, not what you memorize. It feels powerful to use language in real time. As the day goes on, you carry your phone but use it wisely. You listen to short simple podcasts, slow English stories, short news. You understand maybe half, but half is more than before. You take a note of new words: weather, traffic, news, market, neighbor. When you hear a word again later, you feel recognition, like meeting an old friend. At lunchtime, you find a quiet bench. You open your notebook. You write small dialogues to yourself, testing daily use. How are you today? I'm fine. It's a nice day. What do you want for lunch? I want a sandwich. You read them aloud slowly. The sound, the feeling of your voice in open air, the way people look, they all make the experience real. Language leaves the page and lives in space. Later at work or study, you still listen. Not to music this time, but to people. Even if they speak another language, you practice focus, picking tone, speed, intention. The skill of hearing grows beyond English. You're training your attention, your sense of rhythm. When afternoon grows long, energy begins to drop. That's the moment when many learners stop. You decide not to. You open the same file from the morning, Daily Phrases Part 1. The voice says, don't stop. Keep listening. Small practice every day. You smile. The line feels like it was written for this moment. You listen once more. You repeat quietly, even if a bit tired, I don't stop. I keep listening. The simplicity of that pledge brings a wave of calm motivation. You take the bus home. Sounds of conversation fill the space, engines hum, phones buzz. Instead of feeling noise, you play your own audio softly under it. Two sound worlds mix, real and English. You pay attention to certain words that match rhythm with the outside: go, wait, move, here, now. Your ears guide you naturally. The trip ends, and you step out into the golden color of sunset. You remember last night's promise, to make English a companion, not a separate job. You realize the promise is working. With every ordinary sound, doors closing, people greeting, water running, you hear patterns of speech emerging. The world itself becomes your teacher. At home, you recap the day. You open your journal. You write short reflections, using simple but real English. Today was good. I used English in the cafe. I listened on the bus. I said short sentences. I felt confident. Each line captures truth. You finish and read them again aloud. Writing and speaking together strengthen memory. You recognize how each activity adds a small layer. Dinner time comes. You speak without planning, the food is ready. It smells good. Again, ordinary action, simple grammar, real use. You are not studying as before, you are living through the language. You realize this is what all beginners seek, the feeling that English exists inside daily life, not outside it. As night deepens, you look at the day behind you. Many hours passed, but practice was everywhere, in walking, eating, working, resting. You didn't need long lessons or big lists, only awareness. The day itself gave you endless words and sounds to train with. You switch off the lights except one small lamp. Before sleep, you repeat one last exercise. You listen to soft background voice again, the same file from this morning. The words wash over you like gentle water. You half repeat, half breathe with them, listen. Repeat. Understand. You already know their full meaning, but now they feel deeper. You realize each day can become like this, a day of sounds. Morning sound, city sound, word sound, quiet sound. All help your learning grow like waves that never stop touching the shore. You close your eyes slowly. The voice continues, softer, good night. You learn while you rest. You know now what that really means. You have followed the sound all day, and now the silence will organize it. Tomorrow will begin again, with your ears open, your mouth ready, your mind calm. Because this is not just learning, this is living inside language. Chapter 4. You build the rhythm in your day. You open your eyes slowly. The morning light is soft but clear. You take a deep breath and listen, not to music, not to voices, but to the natural rhythm around you. A bird calls once, twice. The clock ticks in steady time. Your breath has its own beat. You realize this is the first rhythm of the day, and you decide to make English part of it. You whisper simple words, good morning. I am here. I am ready. The sound meets the rhythm, joining it like another instrument. You sit up and prepare your room. As you move, you speak about each action in English. I open the window. I feel the air. It is cool. These are not advanced sentences, but they are alive. You match the words to the rhythm of your steps as you walk to the kitchen. The kettle begins to hum, water heat growing inside. You use the moment as practice. The water is hot. I wait for my tea. You hear your own timing. Hot lands with the sound of boiling. Wait matches the pause before pouring. You start to understand that rhythm is not only in music, it lives in daily life. You take your notebook. Today you want to build a steady loop, morning practice, midday listening, afternoon speaking, evening shadowing. You write the plan in short English lines. Listen in the morning. Speak during the walk. Repeat in quiet times. Listen again before sleep. The list is simple, but it is the skeleton of your rhythm. Soon you leave the apartment. Outside, everything carries sound, doors closing, wheels turning, voices streaming. You match words to sounds as you walk. A bus goes fast. A child is running. The street is wide. You keep your pace even. The sentences move with your feet. You notice that steady walking makes sentences steady too. At a shop, you hear a mix of language, some English, some not. You catch thank you from someone buying bread. You repeat it softly. Then you add, thank you very much. You step out, listening for chances to say it again. Even silent repetition in rhythm helps memory stick. In the park, benches face the lake. You sit and open a slow English podcast. The speaker tells short stories, simple, clear, each line with pauses. You follow the pauses, breathing when the speaker breathes, speaking when they speak. This shadowing feels like singing without music. You notice your voice becomes smooth when you keep the same rhythm. After 15 minutes, you stop the audio but keep speaking. You describe what you see. The sky is blue. The water is quiet. A bird is flying. You keep a slow, consistent pace, each sentence about the same length, each pause the same length. Your mouth and your mind feel calm. Midday arrives. You eat lunch and decide to test dictation practice. You play the same podcast but now write every word you hear. Your hand follows the spoken rhythm. Your brain connects ear, hand, and eye. When you finish, you read it aloud, matching the voice's timing. You understand how rhythm connects skills. In the afternoon, you walk to the library. You find a chair near the window. Outside, cars stop and go, people arrive and leave. You set a timer for 20 minutes of reading simple English aloud. The books are familiar, short stories, small dialogues. You read them slowly, keeping equal pauses. The rhythm feels like heartbeats, one line, pause, second line, pause. You learn that this control keeps your voice clear. Later, you take the bus back. It is noisy, but noise cannot break rhythm. You hum the sound of English in your head. You think, I am sitting. The bus is moving. The day is warm. Even with the engine, you hear the beat inside your sentences. Evening light turns gold. At home, you prepare dinner. You decide to speak as you cook, keeping time with actions. I cut the bread. I put it on the plate. I drink water. Each step is a line. You hold your pace steady until the meal is ready. Dinner finished, you move to the quiet room. You turn on the slow English audio for the last time today. You close your eyes, follow every beat, and repeat each sentence exactly as you hear it. You imagine you are part of a song where you and the speaker do not rush or slow down. Night has arrived fully. The sounds of the day fade, leaving only soft evening rhythm, wind outside, clock ticking, your breath steady. You speak one last set of lines. This is my rhythm. I follow it each day. I learn slowly. I learn well. You understand that rhythm is not a trick, it is a method, one that can live in any day you choose. You turn off the light. You lie down, ready for rest. The language will sleep with you, but tomorrow you will wake and start the rhythm again. You know exactly how, listening, speaking, repeating, following. The beat will stay, and English will grow a little more. Chapter 5. You connect sounds and meanings. Part 1, the moment you hear. You start your day listening. The sound of your alarm mixes with the low voice of the audio lesson that you left playing through the night. You don't understand every word, but something inside begins to recognize patterns. The way a sentence rises and falls, the way small words join together, you feel them before you think of them. You whisper slowly, copying what you hear. This is my morning. I am ready to listen. The words are plain, but you understand them fully because you have heard them many times before. The sound and the meaning finally touch each other. You move through the kitchen, repeating quietly. Each cup, each plate becomes a cue. You say, a cup. A plate. Coffee. These are not just objects now, they are sounds carrying feeling and image. You realize that language grows stronger when the ear and the eye work together. You remember yesterday's rhythm, the steady beat that carried you through your day, and you decide that today you will focus on connection, not memorizing, but seeing plus hearing plus saying equals understanding. You sit down with your notebook and play a short English video. You reduce the speed. The speaker says, I go to work. I take the bus. It's cold today. You repeat, not like reading, but like singing. You separate syllables, go / to /work. Then you join them again until the sound feels natural. You find that repetition creates bridges between sound and sense. When the voice says cold, you imagine the air on your skin. Meaning arrives through feeling, not translation. That small recognition excites you. You don't need grammar charts at this moment, your understanding is alive. You decide to strengthen that live link. You close your eyes, listen again, and picture the action. For I take the bus, you imagine holding a ticket, stepping forward, sitting down. Each picture grows from sound. You are no longer outside the language, you live inside its rhythm and images. Part 2, the day speaks to you. You walk outside. The morning air is sharp. You hear people talking fast, words jumping like quick music. You can't catch everything, but sometimes one word shines clearly: coffee, time, phone. Each word you recognize is like a light in the air. You repeat it softly when no one hears you. The city becomes a classroom and you are its quiet listener. At a crossing, you read a sign silently, wait. You whisper the sound to yourself. It's short, strong, full of meaning. You realize a single word carries power because it is connected to action. When you see the light turn green, you say, go. Sound and meaning match again in real time, and this instant feels better than pages of theory. You find a bench near a small garden. You open your phone's recorder. You speak about what you see. I see flowers. They are red. The air is fresh. You listen to your recording. At first, your own voice sounds strange. But then you hear the patterns you've been learning. You can tell when your pronunciation fits and when it breaks. You repeat until the words flow easily. Each correction is another connection built inside your brain, tiny cords linking sound to sense. Later, at lunch, you sit alone with your sandwich. You decide to test your attention. You play a random piece of English audio, a short news clip. The sentences are fast, but you try to catch the key sounds. You write down what you think you hear: people, market, today. Then you check the transcript. Some are correct, some not. You correct them carefully. The act of comparing sound and meaning shapes your listening muscles. It teaches you to feel the shape of words before you fully understand them. Afternoon arrives. You pause your learning for a few minutes, closing your eyes in silence. You notice how English still plays inside your head even when the audio stops. Thoughts begin forming in English, small phrases without effort. That inner voice is proof that sounds and meanings are now connected deeply. Part 3: Small things teach best. Back at home, you test a new technique. You choose 10 simple verbs: go, come, read, eat, drink, wait, run, sit, open, close. You write them on separate small cards. You shuffle the cards and pick one. You say the word aloud and immediately do the action. Open. You open the door. Sit. You sit down. The direct physical link seals meaning solidly in your memory because your body now agrees with your ear. You realize repetition needs emotion to last. So you tell a microstory aloud: I wake up. I open the door. I walk outside. I feel the sun. You smile because it's simple, yet fully yours. Every sound is connected to a clear image. You record yourself speaking and listen again. You hear your voice matching rhythm with your breathing. The more natural it becomes, the deeper the meaning goes. Evening brings a soft fatigue but also satisfaction. You decide to review the day through writing. In your notebook you don't translate back to your native language. You write directly in English what you felt. Today I listened more carefully. I heard new words. I tried to connect them with what I see. When you read it aloud, you understand everything. The circle is complete: listening, understanding, writing, speaking, all feeding one another. Before dinner, you do one last fun game. You stand in front of the mirror and say random objects around you: mirror, wall, chair, light. Then you add small comments: the chair is brown. The light is bright. Watching your mouth move builds awareness. You hear the sound, you see yourself make it, you understand instantly. You have turned your whole environment into a language laboratory. Part 4: Meaning, Lives and Rhythm. Night covers the city. You sit quietly, playing soft instrumental music behind your audio lessons. The rhythm and the language blend. You repeat each sentence, not for grammar, but for musical balance. I am learning. I am improving. I understand more. The steady beat helps memory stay. You feel the connection between rhythm, emotion, and sense, logic, both meet inside one simple phrase. You begin to reflect. At first, English was just noise. Then it became a set of lessons. Now, it feels like part of your inner speech. You no longer ask what a word means, you feel what it means. Cold brings the memory of air. Soft reminds you of your pillow. Strong carries the idea of effort. This emotional mapping makes learning solid. Sound is no longer separate from meaning, they grow together like two sides of one plant. You switch off the light in the main room, keeping a small lamp beside your bed. Before sleeping, you open the same morning audio again. The first sentence says, "This is your day. Listen and feel." You smile, because it now describes your whole progress. You whisper along, "Listen and feel." Your voice aligns perfectly with the recording. You finally understand what it means to connect sounds and meanings, not through study, but through living inside the language. The final minutes of the day belong to silence. You lie still, letting the echo of words move gently through your memory. The light hum of the city joins the traces of English in your mind, both real, both meaningful. You breathe slowly, and with each breath, the language settles deeper. You realize you cannot separate sound from meaning anymore. Every thought carries both. Your eyes grow heavy. The last conscious words form naturally. Tomorrow I listen again. Tomorrow I connect more. You drift into sleep not as a student, but as a person who truly hears. Chapter 6. You understand there is no magic. Part 1. Facing the truth. You wake before sunrise. The room is calm, the light still gray. You hear the same soft voice from your nightly audio, words that once felt mysterious. Now, they sound familiar. You repeat them quietly. I listen. I learn. I grow. For a moment, you smile, but soon you remember something important. There is no magic here. You understand now that learning does not come through sleep alone or one miracle method. It comes from you, your effort, your time, your patience. You sit up, stretch, and think about how far you have come. Weeks ago, every sound felt foreign. Now, English fills your day naturally. But behind each word there were hours of listening, repeating, and focusing. You realize that each improvement is a result of small, real actions, nothing more. You whisper, small steps make big change. Becomes your rule for today. You prepare breakfast. While the coffee drips, you replay a short English clip. The speaker says, practice builds power. You nod, because you know it's true. You used to wait for a secret trick, for something easy. But now, you notice that progress comes only when you move your tongue, your ears, and your mind together. The illusion of magic is gone, replaced by a clear method. You smile again, not because learning is easy, but because it is real. Outside, the morning is quiet. You walk slowly toward your daily path. People hurry, but you stay steady, repeating short sentences. Each word feels like a brick in a growing wall, simple, plain, and useful. You are building your foundation, not chasing illusions. Part 2. The work behind understanding. The day grows bright. You take a seat at your desk and open your notebook. Today's goal is simple: listen closely and repeat correctly. You pick one short listening clip and focus on it, twice, 10 times, again and again. At first, it feels mechanical. But as the rhythm settles, you hear subtleties you missed before: the space between words, the breath before a sentence, the small stress that changes meaning. You realize that understanding is built inside these details. You take notes using symbols of your own, arrows for rising sounds, dots for pauses. You are not imitating magic, you are studying sound as structure. You imagine a builder with simple tools, shaping meaning one piece at a time. Each replay feels like laying a new stone carefully. After an hour, you feel tired. You used to think fatigue meant failure. Now, you understand it means work is truly happening. You drink water, breathe deeply, then continue. You keep your sentences short. I hear well. I speak slowly. I get better. Each one is real, alive, because it reflects your daily experience. Lunchtime comes. You recall when you first started learning, you wanted results fast. You believed in easy English, in fast listening while you sleep. Now, the truth feels different but lighter. It is not fast, yet it is sure. You no longer wait for a spark of magic, you create your own spark by repeating, listening, and living the words. You accept the process and feel its quiet honesty. Part 3. The Power of Effort. In the afternoon, you take a walk to rest your eyes. The wind carries soft sounds from far away, music, voices, cars. Each one becomes a small training. You pick a word from what you hear and repeat it softly. Street. People. Wind. These are not lessons, they are life itself. You begin to notice that every moment gives a chance to practice if you stay open. Your steps fall into rhythm, and with each one, you think of your journey. At the start, you believed learning English could happen passively, as if by magic. Now, you understand the real formula: time times attention times emotion times repetition. You laugh quietly because it sounds simple, yet it carries the true science behind memory. You have turned belief into habit. Back home, you review old notes. At first, the mistakes make you uncomfortable. Then you realize that those mistakes are proof of movement. Without errors, there is no progress. You listen to your old recordings, your pronunciation was once unclear. Now you speak more naturally. You see that every correction, every small practice, is another victory. That understanding replaces your old dream of magic with something even stronger: trust in yourself. At nightfall you decide to summarize your path. You write, "There is no secret way. There is only the clear path of practice." You underline the words because they feel earned. You feel calm, almost proud, not for being perfect, but for being consistent. You no longer fight the slowness of learning, you use it. Part 4. No magic, only you. Darkness fills the room again. You prepare to sleep, but this time you do it differently. You don't expect the language to flow into your mind from nowhere. Instead, you plan your next steps. You set your audio to play softly, not for magic, but for rhythm. You know that your brain will rest with familiar sounds, and tomorrow, you will work again, to shape those sounds into true speech. You lie down and recall the day, the listening, the repeating, the patient focus. Each small act builds a chain of understanding. You think, there is no magic, but there is a method. There is no secret, but there is me. These words soothe you, because they are honest. You watch the dim light, eyes half closed. You recall how you once searched for the fastest way to speak like a native. But now, you realize that real learners do not chase speed, they follow rhythm. They build meaning one heartbeat at a time. Silence grows around you. The language inside you no longer feels separate, it's part of your thinking, your breathing. You understand now, success comes quietly, through repetition, awareness, and patience. You smile one last time, whispering to yourself, "I understand." There is no magic. Only practice. Only me. Your eyes close, the sound fades. The next chapter of your learning waits beyond sleep, but not as a miracle. It waits as morning work, ready for you to meet it again.